Greetings. This is the last reaction video I will do this year. I just noticed that they have this clip here called Why We Probably Won't Make a Linux Channel. It's a 2-minute something long video, so I can probably make this like into 2 hours of rant. Let's hear why they probably won't, or why the Linus Tech Tip probably won't make a Linux channel. It could be interesting to hear.
By now, I'm sure you've seen the suggestions for Anthony to have a channel focused on Linux. Do you have any plans for that? The problem with... So we're getting into like business talk now. The problem is that if I have one Anthony, and that is the number of Anthonys that we have here at Linus Media Group.
Yeah.
So I've got one Anthony.
Trying to clone him, but it's hard.
You've got this chessboard, right? Anthony's like the queen or the king. You've got one of them, okay? And so they can only do one thing at a time. And I could take that Anthony and I could assign him to work on things that 1 million or 2 million or 5 million people will watch and learn from him. Or I could assign him to things where
30,000
or 50,000 people might watch and learn from him. And Anthony might really enjoy what he's working on, but in the interest of the greater good, both to us and to the tech community, should I put the Anthony in front of as many people as possible working on high-profile projects? Or should I sideline Anthony into a niche channel that will never grow beyond a certain ceiling?
So what you're saying is we need to get more writers to the end of the board.
And
then they become Anthony's.
I don't know if that's what I was saying, but I guess it's chill.
Okay, so yeah, I had to dissect that a little bit. I get what he's saying here, and you should get what he's saying here also, is that there's just not an audience for it. The small amount of Linux content that they probably will do, or may do, is better suited on a, their big channel, because like it says, there's a lot of eyes on it and stuff like that. So it could potentially give, more exposure to the video. And what he was saying with that, putting him onto a dedicated Linux channel that only have a certain potential of growth. We see that if he took Anthony, put him into a dedicated Linux channel, he loses the power of these bigger channels here. Because Short Circuits is also focusing on other stuff. Linus Tech Tips is also focusing on other stuff. And what I'm getting from this is that what he's saying, and kind of what we all know, is that if they did a Linux-only channel, it will not get the amount of eyeballs on it. It will not get the amount of views on it. And this is what content creation is. We do this because we want people to watch our shit. That's why we're doing it. So do you want to spend hours and hours, and in their case probably thousands of dollars, making something that 10 people will watch, 10,000 people will watch, or something millions of people will watch? You will probably go with the millions of people, because that is also what drives the business. Let's be honest here. Linux is small. Linux is really niche on the desktop. That's what they are going to target here, if they are going to do it. Why target 2 or 3% when you can target 99%, or, well, not 99, but let's say 80%. Or 90%.
That's where I'm at on it. That's where I'm at on it. It's Anthony's great, but I think that a channel focused on Linux has a ceiling, and I think that it's also a community that's pretty well served. Like, why are we going in and trying to?
It makes sense. There is way too many Linux channels out there. There really are. Like, I'm part of the problem. I do Linux content also, but there are way too many Linux channels out there. If you think about it, there are only like a handful really, really popular Linux channels, like over 200, 300,000 subscribers. And even the biggest one, Chris Titus Tech, is kind of stuck around close to 500,000. He should have passed that way before. And what you see with Linux channels, I've been following Linux channels since 2004 or 5 when YouTube came about. You see them skyrocket like in 4 or 5 years. And then they just stand still, because there's not audience enough for it. Not all Linux YouTubers, not all Linux users are sitting here being lazy watching, my and their stuff about Linux. They are out working, they are out having fun, You know, they're out getting drunk, they're out meeting girls and boys and robots and all that shit. So there is a certain amount of eyeballs, and that certain amount of eyeballs is really, 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 really limited. People can't sit and don't want to sit and watch 10 Linux YouTube channels making the same content about Ubuntu's next release, or why snap packages are bad, or why Microsoft is the devil. They watch 1 or 2 videos and then they got their fill and they do something else.
Take over someone else's
There's
deal.
like almost a disproportionately large amount of Linux creators.
Yeah, so
There's a lot of content out there.
with Mac, for example, we saw a unique opportunity for ourselves as sort of the not butt kissy Apple coverage, right? And but that still, you know, we want hosts and we want writers that do love the products and love the ecosystem, but are not constrained in any way by having to have a relationship with Apple. We will just buy Horst anything that he needs, so he never has to worry about that. So we're untethered in that way, which is cool, and I saw that as a differentiating factor. But for the Linux one, I just don't see what it would be. Suppose I feel like Anthony could work on a Linux video once or twice a month. Do you have any idea how long it takes to make a video? Once or twice a month would be like 40% of his output, especially if it's twice in a month. Like, no.
It takes a long time to make a video. Especially video like this. Mine take, if you see a 30-minute video, probably taking me 4 hours with editing. They probably spend weeks on a video, or at least days on a video, recording, re-recording, setting up, getting equipment, testing, researching, script writing, editing, fixing shit they forgot in editing. Yeah, it takes time. It's just they don't do like me, you know, sit on their fucking ass in a dark room and record shit and then put it out there. Yeah, like, there are too many Linux YouTubers. There is a certain amount of, you know, ceiling, like he says, the ceiling. There is only a certain amount of people that are interested in Linux or on the desktop, like a really, really, really small amount. And we already have a lot of content creators doing it. I will say this: if he took the same approach to Linux as he did with Macintosh, having a non-kissing ass channel, he could probably take off with it. Because 99.9% of all Linux YouTube channels out there, they are so deep up Linux and FOSS's ass that you don't know where, you know, that person's ass stops and their own ass continue. Like, they're almost using Linux as a fucking suit, a human suit. There is not enough people out there, in my humble opinion, that look at Linux realistically, that look at Linux without the bullshit. Chris Tech is a bullshitter. DistroTube is a bullshitter. Luke Smith is a bullshitter. The Mental Outlaw, a big bullshitter. eBoss Central is the biggest bullshit about Linux that exists. He's taking everything out of context, everything, and misinterpreting everything they say, or blatantly stating something that is blatantly a lie if you actually read the fucking article. So yeah, we need someone that is not just trying to convince people. We need someone that is not trying to sell you Linux. And with the platform that they have here, they could do it. But then again, the Linux community will then turn around. Just look at when they did the Linux channel, the Daily Driver channel, how the Linux community was toxic towards them. So if he takes the same approach, and I think that's in his equation also, and that's, he just don't say it here, but if you take the Apple approach to Linux, where no bullshit, not going to sell you lies or promising you fucking shit and promising you the world with Linux and open source, he might as well just fucking end someone's newborn in Minecraft on a fucking live stream with the amount of hate that he would be getting. It's not even funny how toxic the Linux community can get if you're not doing what Chris Tech, DistroTube, and Mental Outlaw and eBoss Central and all of those people are doing, basically licking its ass. If you're not licking Linux ass, you have a big problem on your hand. Trust me. We don't have any original Linux content creators anymore. See you all later. Bye bye.